let's say you report something, there's almost a supposition on the part of the person who's hearing that report that, oh, well, he wants to believe that. Does that enter into it where there is this confirmation bias, or is it like, hell no, I was like, this could blow up my plane, or this could be an enemy of the United States, and I'm a patriot, and I signed up to defend my country? At what level do you react negatively when someone says, oh, of course, he just wants to believe in these things in science fiction, like we all do, but he's using, the fact that he's seen things or witnessed things, to bolster that? How do you guard against that? Because that's a common claim that people make, right?
No, I mean, no, frankly, I haven't heard people claim that. But if they are, so be it. But for me, I try to keep myself on the line of what I've observed and what I've directly talked to my colleagues and what they've seen. At the end of the day, I'm just doing my best to report on that and to improve the aerospace safety around it, right? And so that's where all my effort is. So if people want to look at my track record to justify my behavior, then they're going to see nothing but me focusing on aviation safety on this topic. Because for me, that's the most pragmatic way that I can reach back and, be able to help the people that I used to fly with. Whenever I engage in this topic, I do so two ways. One, I try to engage with stakeholders within government, within DoD, be able to provide answers to the most pressing questions they have, right? Because again, I'm trying to support national security here and aviation safety, and that's the best way to do it, by directly interfacing and solving the problems that they have. But we're also engaging in the conversation on the civil side as well. One of the activities that we're planning at the AIAA is actually a small sensor package that can be distributed to schools and the general public. And we're looking to tie that in with a data provider and service provider that would look to donate that compute time to be able to run algorithms that we're generating at the AIAA to provide that wider plethora of data. It's about trying to find patterns in that data. So the more that we have, the more we can kind of suss out some of those details. And that's a similar, I think, process that can be done with eyewitness reports and non-sensor reports. I think the bar is higher. We need more data so that we could pull out those trends. But I think there is valid information to be pulled out of there en masse, right, on average, as we look at the data in the whole.
I was talking recently with a colleague. I won't mention who he is, but he was in the military intelligence field. And he was talking about, the preponderance of events, of anomalies that seem to occur near military Area 51 is a huge, Groom Lake, Edwards Air Force Base. I was talking recently with a colleague. I won't mention who he is, but he was in the military intelligence field. And he was talking about, the preponderance of events, of anomalies that seem to occur near military Area 51 is a huge, Groom Lake, Edwards Air Force Base. Is there anything, to be said about that? Like from the perspective of aviation safety, at least, like just avoid those areas? Or could it be, as some suggest, people are either there's technology from an adversary would like to go to those areas too and get a sneak peek at an F-18, right? Or an F-35. So what do you make of that? Is there anything, to this theory that, of course, things are going to happen in strange ways, call me when it happens over Times Square kind of reaction that I often get?
Well, my first go-to here is that there's probably observation bias involved. So we're seeing them there because we have the sensors to actually be able to see. Now, with that, I also don't think, this issue is going to be one particular thing. I've been saying for a while, and, we're going to find adversarial platforms. We're going to find drones and things of that nature. We're going to find trash. That's great, and that's helpful to our national security, and we have systems in place to mitigate that. But there's a category that, we're ignoring essentially that data set. And that's what I find we need to work down. So, I think we're going to have adversarial platforms around those bases. So there's going to probably be uptick in, unexplained or unidentified objects around those bases, maybe just because they're adversarial platforms. But I think there's an observation bias as well. And to your point earlier, you're talking about kind of the Bayesian probability of a commercial pilot versus military pilot seeing these and what that can affect. It's such a small bubble that a commercial pilot can see. So, when you're talking about sightings from fighter jets, you have the potential to get highly correlated data across multiple sensors, different types, as well as, different geographical locations of the data reception, if you will, or the sourcing. Ground-based sensors or eyewitness statements, things of that nature, you don't have that luxury necessarily. And so we would expect to have much better data around those systems.
What kind of supplementary information, data, et cetera, quality, quantity, calibration, would be most beneficial to you in your mission?
So I'm not going to answer it the way you want, but we can go into some of that more stuff after. But to start, I would say, sadly, it's not a technological problem. It's a stigma problem. And so if I was, in that position, I would be pushing in the middle management ranks in order to standardize reporting on this across all the services. I think there's buy-in at the top, there's buy-in from operators, but there's, essentially middle rank officers that are, at that operational level that either going to make or break that system. And if they don't have buy-in on it, there's also ways that you can implement that into training, into the actual aviation training pipeline, things of that nature. So stigma reduction of that will increase pilot reporting to enable new data that will allow this conversation to be a normal scientific endeavor. In our capitalistic market, we can have an industry around this. We can advance sensors. We can potentially get government funding for these different companies to be able to expand and provide solutions to the government. So reducing stigma, I think, just allows this whole conversation to open up.